All right, today we're diving into a professional profile that, well, it really spans continents and covers some absolutely critical and honestly fascinating parts of organizational life.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission isn't just, reading a list of accomplishments. We want to extract the real story, the sort of analytical journey behind a truly impressive academic career.
Absolutely.
We're going deep into the work and path of Dr. Kabiru Maitama Kura.
And this is a deep dive specifically shaped to trace a career that's really defined by global movement, but also intellectual precision. It's not just a CV.
Right.
This biography really maps out a long-term commitment to understanding that fundamental puzzle for any organization. Why do people think, feel, and act the way they do when they're at work?
That's the core question, isn't it?
It is, and we'll follow that journey from his foundational leadership roles in Nigerian higher education right through to prominent research and teaching positions across Asia and the Middle East.
Okay, so that immediately flags up a global cross-cultural viewpoint, yeah. Blending that hands-on administrative experience with some serious academic focus.
Exactly.
So to guide you, the listener, through what makes this whole story so compelling, we'll kick off with the career path itself, kind of dynamic. Then we'll spend some real time looking at the core research focus.
Yeah, the intellectual meat of it, you could
Yeah,
say.
intellectual nuggets, yeah. And then we'll wrap up with the international recognition and the really vital service contributions he's made to the academic world. Okay, let's unpack this pretty unusual global blend.
Sounds good.
So let's start with where he is now, his current academic footprint, and sort of trace things backward.
Okay.
Right now, Dr. Kura is an associate professor of human resource management at Bahrain Polytechnic. That's a significant position where he's bringing all that global teaching, admin, and consulting experience to tackle organizational challenges, specifically in the Gulf region now.
And that role in Bahrain, it really feels like maybe not a final step, but a powerful current chapter building on what came right before in Southeast Asia.
Ah, right. Tell us about that.
Well, immediately before Bahrain, he was an assistant professor, HRM and organizational behavior at the UTB School of Business. That's, University Technology Brunei.
Okay.
And that movement, between Nigeria, then Southeast Asia, now the Gulf, it's not just about logging air miles.
No, definitely not.
It really highlights this incredible adaptability to vastly different institutional cultures, different academic systems. That's something quite rare for academics, actually.
It really does show adaptability. But let's trace back even further to the foundation, the training that kind of made these global moves possible.
Right, the groundwork.
His specialized academic training, the PhD in human resource management, that was earned from University Utah, Malaysia.
Okay, so that already sets up a kind of bridge, doesn't it, between West Africa and Asia, academically speaking.
Exactly. It gave him that specialized framework he then carried forward into these different roles.
But what's really fascinating, I think, is how he developed leadership skills alongside the academic specialization. It wasn't just books. His academic career foundation was really built back in Nigeria at the Federal Polytechnic, Kara. He worked his way up there to senior lecturer.
Okay.
But crucially, he wasn't only teaching, he was also managing.
Right. That's a key point, not just an academic track.
No. During his time in Nigeria, he took on a really significant early administrative job, director of the School of Remedial and Basic Studies at that same Federal Polytechnic.
Wow, okay. That sounds like a substantial role.
It is. That's a heavy managerial load, right? It shows he had this combination of academic ability, institutional management skill, and, handling resources, budgets, people, right from relatively early on.
That does raise an interesting point, though. Moving from managing a whole school in Nigeria, which must require deep local knowledge and strategy,
Oh, absolutely.
to then doing specialized research and teaching in, say, Brunei or Bahrain. Totally different contexts. It's a massive pivot. Does his research kind of reflect the cultural shifts he must have navigated?
Well, it certainly seems to inform the scope of his interests. And that's actually a perfect transition, isn't it? From where he taught and led to what he actually studies.
Okay, yeah.
Because when you look at his research, it seems fundamentally interested in how individual differences play out in organizations, almost regardless of the specific culture.
Right. He describes himself as an organizational scholar, interested in how people think, feel, and behave in the workplace. A broad remit.
A very broad remit. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. His overall goal seems to be examining employee perceptions, attitudes, behaviors. But the depth comes from how he looks at the whole spectrum of workplace interaction, the good, the bad.
Ah, okay. So let's start with the challenging side then.
Yeah.
He actually studies workplace deviance
Mhm.
and, more specifically, counterproductive work behavior, CWB.
CWB.
And for anyone listening, CWB is basically all the stuff that actively harms the organization, right? Like chronic absenteeism, maybe theft, bullying, even deliberately working slowly.
All those things that just drag down morale and productivity, they really corrode the health of a workplace.
Exactly. But importantly, he doesn't just focus on the negative.
No, and this is crucial. He balances that study of the, let's call it, toxic side with investigating the antidote, organizational citizenship behavior, or OCB.
OCB, the flip side.
The flip side entirely. OCB is all that voluntary stuff that goes above and beyond the basic job description. Helping out a colleague who's swamped, volunteering for committees, proactively suggesting ways to improve things.
So when you study CWB and OCB together like that, it suggests he's not just seeing them as opposites, maybe more like points on a single spectrum of motivation or engagement.
That could be it, yeah. That the key insight for management isn't just stop the bad stuff, but more like, how do we create conditions through leadership, culture, psychology that actually shift people away from CWB towards OCB?
That makes sense. It frames it as a positive goal, not just damage control.
And that seems to be the core of his contribution. He connects these behavioral dynamics, these internal states, directly to really tangible business outcomes.
Like what, specifically?
Well, his work touches on critical issues like employee turnover, which, hits the bottom line hard with recruitment costs,
Sure does.
and also safety performance. Now, most companies think of safety as like rules and equipment, hard hats, procedures, enforcement.
Right, the technical side.
But Kura seems to be focusing on the behavioral drivers of safety. He's essentially asking if poor safety isn't just bad luck or faulty gear, but maybe a predictable result of poor leadership or high deviance or low engagement.
That makes the research incredibly practical, doesn't it? Suddenly, safety isn't just an OSHA checklist. It's tied into HR and leadership strategy.
Precisely.
And if we link this to the bigger picture, like contemporary issues, his focus also extends into sustainability, right? We see work on green workplace behavior.
Yes. And what's so interesting about that focus is how it connects individual psychology, how people feel and act at work, with these massive global challenges around corporate social responsibility in the environment.
How so? What's the connection he's likely exploring?
Well, he's probably looking at whether employees who already show high OCB, the good organizational citizens, are also the ones most likely to, say, champion or just participate willingly in environmental initiatives at work, recycling programs, energy saving, that sort of thing.
Ah, okay. So it connects those internal psychological drivers, like feeling committed to the organization, to these external ethical mandates around sustainability.
Exactly. It shows his work is really pushing the boundaries, connecting traditional HRM concerns with modern ethical leadership and global issues.
That breadth is really impressive. It shows someone connecting the dots between foundational drivers like personality, individual differences, leadership styles, and these large-scale organizational results. Safety, turnover, even environmental performance.
And let's touch on those drivers he investigates. He definitely drills down into personality and individual differences, as you said, but the impact of leadership style seems critical in his work, too.
Right. What kind of questions is he asking there?
He seems to be asking things like, does toxic or abusive leadership naturally breed CWB? Makes sense, right?
Yeah, intuitively.
And conversely, what types of leadership may be authentic leadership or transformational leadership, actively encourage OCB, and maybe even drive that green behavior?
So it grounds the research in very practical levers that CEOs and managers anywhere in the world could potentially use.
Exactly. Solutions focused, based on understanding behavior.
Okay, that deep dive into the research is really illuminating. So moving beyond his own studies now, let's look at how Dr. Kura has sort of contributed back to the wider scientific community and how his excellence has been recognized.
Right, because contributing back is a big part of academia, often unseen work. And Dr. Kura has clearly dedicated significant time to serving as a reviewer and editor for scholarly journals. This peer review function is absolutely essential. It's the quality control mechanism for published research globally.
Keeps the standards high. And we're not talking about obscure journals here, are we?
No, not at all. We see his name linked with major platforms, things like the International Journal of Human Resource Management, Frontiers in Psychology, specifically the Organizational Psychology section, and Sage Open.
Okay, those are significant outlets.
Definitely. Being asked to review or edit for journals like these is a clear sign that you're trusted within the global HRM community. It shows recognized expertise and reliability.
And beyond that vital service work, his excellence has also been formally recognized through awards. These often tell a story in themselves.
They do. And while many academics excel purely in research, it's notable that Dr. Kura specifically received University Technology Brunei's Teaching Excellence Award.
Ah, that's interesting. Why is that particularly notable?
Because it's a direct nod to his impact in the classroom, his skill in actually communicating this complex behavioral stuff to students, making it understandable and engaging. It's not just about the research output.
That's a great point. Balancing research prowess with teaching skill.
But his research has also been consistently recognized at an international level. He won a Best Paper Award way back in 2014 at the 6th International Borneo Business Conference, IBBC.
Okay, so success early on in Southeast Asia.
Right. And then he followed that up with another Best Paper Award, this time in 2018 at the 3rd International Conference on Business Management, ICBM.
So consistent quality recognized in different places, different times.
Exactly. It shows the research holds up across various academic forums and geographies.
And finally, there's his engagement with professional bodies, right? Membership often indicates where someone positions their work.
Absolutely. And his memberships show a really interesting blend. Being active in the Academy of Management, AOM, suggests he's engaging with the top-tier theoretical thinkers in management globally.
Okay, the big picture theory.
While membership in the American Psychological Association, APA, suggests he grounds his HRM work firmly in fundamental psychological principles, understanding the why behind the behavior.
Makes sense. But he hasn't lost touch with practice or his roots, it seems.
Not at all. And that's shown by his continued membership in key Nigerian bodies. The Nigerian Institute of Management chartered, and the Institute of Management Consultants of Nigeria. So it really paints a picture of a career successfully bridging global research rigor with crucial, on-the-ground, local professional application and relevance. That's a rare synthesis.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so to sort of wrap up this deep dive, we've covered a really dynamic career marked by diverse global postings, Nigeria, Malaysia, Brunei, Bahrain.
Yeah, quite the map.
Deep research into the complexities of HRM and organizational behavior, the good, the bad, the green. And clear, consistent recognition from international academic communities and professional bodies.
I think what really stands out for me is that ability to integrate the practical leadership experience with really cutting-edge theoretical work.
How so?
Well, he took that foundational administrative leadership experience from Nigeria and clearly used it to inform highly specialized, globally recognized research into these really demanding areas like CWB, OCB, and now green behavior.
Yeah, you can see the connection.
It speaks volumes about a scholar who genuinely understands both the immediate, practical challenges of running an institution day to day and the future direction of the global academic field. He bridges that gap.
A truly impressive story of growth, contribution, and synthesis blending theory and practice across, what, 3 continents now?
At least, yeah.
So as we conclude this overview and get ready to welcome, and maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Considering his powerful focus on that linked spectrum of behavior, CWB, OCB, and this emerging area of green behavior, there seems to be this profound connection between, say, workplace toxicity and broader organizational sustainability.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does. So if you're a manager listening, perhaps the provocative question Dr. Kura's work poses is this. Is your company's poor environmental record, or maybe your struggle to meet sustainability goals, is it possibly a predictable symptom of underlying toxic leadership styles and high levels of counterproductive work behavior among employees?
Ooh, that's a tough connection to consider, but a potentially vital one.
Something to definitely think about as we welcome Dr. Kura